Hello, Hanna.
Hello. Where am I?
You're in holding. How long have you been in the forest? Can I get you something? What do you like? Music? Magazines?
I want to speak to Marissa Wiegler.
You wanted to speak with me? It's okay.
In northern Finland, young Hanna is stalking a reindeer. She shoots it with her arrow, and soon it dies. While harvesting its meat, her father, Eric, appears, warning her that she's wide open. Hanna attacks him. She clearly knows how to handle herself, trained all her life by Eric himself, but still has a lot to learn. He tells her to drag the deer back alone but keeps a close eye on her from the shadows. Hanna returns to the cabin, where Eric notes that she is getting much stronger, as she nearly beat him. Eric is an ex-CIA German operative who has trained Hanna in various forms of combat her entire life, with a single mission in mind: to kill CIA senior officer Marissa Wiegler. That night, Hanna wonders what music feels like and tells Eric she is ready to leave the cabin. Eric ignores her. Hanna flips through a book before bed, staring at a picture of her mother, Joanna. Eric continues to push Hanna in her training, drilling her on a fake backstory until she has memorized it. That night, Eric tests Hanna once more. She overpowers him, reminding him she is ready. Later, Eric goes deep into the forest and uncovers a box. The next day, he shows Hanna a beacon, explaining that if she truly feels ready, she should flip the switch. Marissa will know their location. He warns her to be certain.
I won't be there to hold your hand. Be sure it's what you really want.
Hanna takes a day to ponder, then flips the switch, daring Marissa to come find her. Eric returns home to see the beacon flashing and sits in silence, knowing what's coming. Marissa learns about the beacon signal and suspects Eric. The name brings back dark memories, and she wonders why he's resurfacing. Reviewing Eric's file with her superiors, it's revealed that she was his handler. After an undisclosed incident, Eric was suspected of murdering Joanna. Marissa demands a team to pick him up, claiming he may hold intel valuable to their enemies. Eric shares final details with Hanna, and they plan to reunite in Germany. They say goodbye, and Eric departs. That night, Hanna hears a team approaching the cabin and prepares herself. The unit surrounds the cabin, guns hot. The first two soldiers enter, but do not respond. The rest charge in, only to find their men dead. Hanna then surrenders herself. Marissa learns Eric escaped but that a child was captured. She grows silent. Hanna is taken to a CIA secure facility, where a therapist conducts a psych evaluation. She notices cameras all around and requests to speak with Marissa. Marissa plans to visit. A blood sample is collected, baffling scientists with the results. Later, a woman disguised as Marissa enters Hanna's chamber, while the real Marissa watches. Hanna asks questions. Marissa coaches the woman on how to answer. Hanna then appears to cry, hugging her. As agents move to sedate Hanna, she kills the imposter, shoots the cameras, and leaves Marissa in shock. The entire base mobilizes. Hanna slips under a secure barrier, evades capture, and crawls through the vents. She breaks into a lab, forces a technician to retrieve a file with her blood work, and escapes. After emerging from the facility into the wilderness, she hitches a ride beneath a convoy truck and disappears. Following the incident, Marissa removes files from a safe and burns them. A flashback shows Eric, Joanna, and baby Hanna driving, until Marissa opens fire on their car. She rushed over to finish the job, but the family had escaped the wreckage. She sees them crossing a field and opens fire, managing to shoot Joanna while Eric escapes with Hanna. Joanna's last words still ring clear in her mind: Hanna will never belong to Marissa. Hanna walks until she encounters a young girl, Sophie, and her brother Miles, who are on vacation with their family. Seeing a trail of dust in the distance closing in, Hanna ponders traveling with the family but decides to continue on foot. She reaches an oasis, where she sees women washing and singing, and steals some clothes. She stumbles upon a bazaar and is entranced by all the new sights and sounds. As day fades, she finds an inn, and the kind old innkeeper gives her a room to rest. Everything, from the lights to the television to the hot kettle, is overstimulating to Hanna. She rushes out and runs into Sophie and Miles again. Meanwhile, Marissa meets the sadistic former agent Isaacs at a bar, requesting his talents to track Hanna. As her agents chase Eric, Isaacs wonders how Hanna turned out. Marissa tells him, even better than expected. Hanna meets Sophie's parents, Sebastian and Rachel, and has dinner with them. That night, Hanna discovers her blood test results are abnormal. The next morning, the family sets off again. Isaacs interrogates the beaten innkeeper about Hanna's whereabouts. When they spot Hanna sneaking onto the family's van, Isaacs kills the innkeeper with his own pen. One of Isaac's men spots the van on the highway the next day and follows on his bike. Hanna remains hidden, observing the family. Miles sees her but doesn't betray her. Meanwhile, Eric arrives in Germany and runs into two policemen. Later, Marissa finds their bodies in the sea and orders silence. As the family stops, Hanna climbs out of hiding. Miles sees her again and helps her escape the van. Nearby, Isaac's man continues to report in. Hanna heads to a pool for a drink and meets Sophie again. Sophie convinces Hanna to secretly stay with her, on the condition that Hanna accompanies her to a party that night, where Sophie has her eyes on some Spanish boys. At the gypsy party in the woods, Hanna and Sophie join the boys. Afterward, Hanna sits in silence with her date. When he leans in for a kiss, Hanna reflexively throws him to the ground. Isaacs and his men arrive at the campgrounds but only find Miles asleep in the tent. Meanwhile, Marissa breaks into Joanna's mother's home. A tape plays of Joanna telling her mother about the program designed to make babies stronger. Marissa demands to know what else Joanna had revealed. The grandmother refuses, says goodbye to Joanna, and Marissa shoots her dead. That night, Hanna and Sophie share a tent. They've grown fond of each other, but Sophie senses Hanna is hiding something. Hanna confesses that very bad people are after her, and some truths can't be revealed. Still, she wants to stay friends. Sophie agrees and gives Hanna her bracelet as a keepsake. The next morning, Sophie tells her parents, and they offer Hanna a ride. They head out, but Isaacs and his men are close behind. Meanwhile, Eric gets off a bus and notices he's being followed. In the subway station, agents close in. Eric wastes no time, taking down each one with brutal precision. He hears on the radio, Marissa is hunting him. Hanna, enjoying the ride, feels the wind in her hair while chatting with Rachel. She notices Isaac's car gaining on them. Marissa, listening to Joanna's tapes, receives a call from Eric. He tells her he grew tired of the mess and had to get out. She demands answers, but suddenly one of her agents is shot through the door. Marissa fires blindly through it and dives for her weapon. Eric kicks the door in, but she escapes through a window. Hanna sees the car still following them as Rachel, thinking they've lost it, pulls over. Isaac stops behind them. Hanna warns the family to stay put. She makes Sophie promise not to follow her and thanks her for being a friend. Then she bursts out and runs into a container yard. The men close in. Hanna fights back and escapes again. As they search, Hanna ambushes two of them. Sophie turns up and watches in shock as Hanna brutally kills one man with a knife. Then Hanna takes off at full speed with Isaacs on her tail. Before he can reach her, she leaps into the sea and vanishes. However, they've captured the family with Marissa. She's interrogating them about Hanna's whereabouts, but they refuse to give her any information, until she gets to Miles. She convinces him that bad men are after Hanna and that she's there to help. Miles, believing her, reveals the address Hanna is heading to. Hanna walks all the way to the location Eric gave her and arrives at an abandoned amusement park. There she meets Napur, an eccentric old magician and longtime friend of Eric's. He greets Hanna warmly and offers her food. Hanna asks about Joanna, and Napur recalls her as a wonderful singer and a very dear friend. Outside, Marissa arrives. Napur spots her and quickly hides Hanna before the men burst in, demanding Eric's whereabouts. Hanna hides under a bed upstairs. Marissa enters and sits on the bed. Isaacs joins her, and Hanna overhears them discussing the program, revealing that Eric isn't her real father. Marissa gets a call and suddenly checks under the bed, but Hanna has vanished. Once Marissa leaves the room, Hanna escapes and runs into town. At an internet cafe, she begins researching DNA interference in Eric. News reports claim Eric is responsible for Joanna's death. Meanwhile, Eric arrives at the amusement park, sees Isaacs, and overhears their plan to go to Hanna's grandmother's home. Hanna eventually makes it to her grandmother's house, still wrecked from the recent tragedy. Eric arrives, wanting to talk. Hanna asks if he's her father. Despite raising her like his own, Eric admits he's not her biological parent. He tells her he recruited Joanna from an abortion clinic. Hanna was illegally genetically enhanced to be a super soldier and born in a facility. There were others like her, But after 2 years, Marissa shut the program down and tried to terminate the test subjects. Eric saved Hanna. Devastated, Hanna believes she's a freak. Eric tries to stop her from storming out, but Hanna overpowers him and jumps out the window. At that moment, Isaacs arrives. Eric acts as a distraction, telling Hanna to run. Isaacs and Marissa give chase. One of Isaacs's men chases Eric on foot, but Eric ambushes and beats him down. Isaacs attacks with a pipe, but Eric kills him. Then he faces Marissa, who holds him at gunpoint. Eric surrenders without resistance, and Marissa shoots him dead. Hanna returns to the amusement park, calling out for Napor. She finds him hanging from the ceiling, arrows embedded in his body, tortured by Isaacs. A sound outside startles her. It's Marissa. Hanna pulls an arrow from Napor's body and hides. Marissa enters, calling for her. But Hanna escapes the park, sprinting into the night. Marissa gives chase, gun in hand, desperate to bury her past once and for all. Hanna runs hard, but Marissa manages to cut her off. She pretends to want to help. Hanna warns her to stay back, she doesn't want to hurt anyone. She tells Marissa, it's over. But Marissa refuses to let go. She fires. Hanna launches the arrow into Marissa's stomach. Both fall. Hanna recovers, but Marissa is gone. She walks along the tracks, spotting a ladder, and Marissa, trying to escape. Now the hunter has become the hunted. Determined to end it, Hanna races forward. Marissa tries to shoot, but she's too weak. Hanna catches up. Marissa raises her gun, but slips and tumbles down a slide. Hanna picks up the weapon, looks Marissa in the eye, and says,
I just missed your heart.
The movie ends. If you new, please subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.